Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Coffee Break Blogging. Today we're going to talk about the perfect opt-in confirmation page. So this is that page that they're going to see as soon as they opt into your email list, as soon as they opt in for one of your lead magnets. The question is going to be, what do they see? Now, the big thing there is that this is a very important page on your site. They've actually just executed what is likely their very first transaction on your site. Now, it's not a monetary transaction, but it's still a transaction nonetheless. They paid for whatever it is that you promised them with their email address. And now you need to treat it like it is a transaction. Now, there's a lot of really crappy confirmation pages out there because, the worst kind is if you just use the one that your email list host gives you by default, the kind that says, hey, great, you're on my list now, go check your email inbox. And that's pretty much it. It's like a total dead end. And then I've seen people create custom confirmation pages that actually aren't a hell of a lot better than the ones that you get by default with these accounts. It basically just says, go check your email. Well, that's a big mistake. You basically just threw them into a dead end and you really lost an opportunity. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go over 7 different tips on what to do with the perfect opt-in confirmation page. Now, I will say up front here that these are not 7 things that I recommend that you do simultaneously. They're just 7 good ideas, and obviously if you put them all on the same page, it would just be a real big problem. So I'm not recommending you do them all simultaneously. You have to look into what your intentions are, where you want to take them, and then you decide what makes sense. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into these 7 tips. The first one, and this is the most important and goes with whatever other tip that you decide to implement, but this is to acknowledge the action that they just took. That might seem really obvious, but sometimes you do see confirmation pages that don't properly acknowledge the action they just took. So it's really as simple as saying, thank you. Everything that I promised to you is on its way to your email inbox right now. It's that simple. You just want to make sure that the thing that they just did has been properly and fully acknowledged, shows that you appreciate it, and shows that they are going to get everything that they just opted in for. Because again, they paid for something, quote unquote, with their email address. And so just like any other transaction, you don't want them to feel shortchanged or even have that idea enter their mind by thinking, oh, well, what just happened here? That you don't want them to have to worry about that. You want them to be, feel very fulfilled that the thing that they just did, that they're definitely going to get it. So that acknowledgement is very important. I just want to put that one here as tip number 1 in case you overlook it. Tip number 2, put in a front-end product for sale. That means turn them from a free subscriber into a customer by selling them something. Now, this one is different because some of the other tips that I'm going to give you here, you're not going to do that simultaneously with presenting an offer. If you're going to present an offer to them, then your focus is going to be the offer itself, not any of these other things I'm going to be mentioning here in this episode. But in my world, ideally, the best thing that you would do on a confirmation page is to give them something to buy. So what you would do is you would do tip number 1 and tip number 2 at the same time with like a sandwich style or a hybrid sales page. So at the top of the sales page is going to be the acknowledgement of what they just did. It's going to be something like, thank you, everything that you just subscribed for is being sent to your inbox. But while you wait for that email to show up, look below. It'd be something along those lines. And then you present your offer. Now, if you are doing a video-based lead magnet, well, then you would probably give them that video right there on that page. Okay? But you can still turn that content-oriented lead magnet into an offer for a sale, or you give them a call to action at the end of that lead magnet, and then a little button will pop up and you can take them into a front-end offer. If you look at the blog monetization model that you can find over at blogmarketingacademy.com, you will see that the most the ideal thing to put behind the opt-in is going to be an offer. It's the whole idea of moving that relationship to the next level from a person who is seeking something for free from you and moving them up to a customer. And obviously not everybody's going to make that jump right off the bat, but if you set this into impulse buy territory, and I'm generally a believer in $10 or less for most consumer markets, then you're going to convert a certain percentage of those people to a customer right off the bat. And this is good real estate. They just executed one transaction with you, so they're a lot more likely to execute a second one. Okay? So that's tip number 2. Put in a front-end offer for sale. Tip number 3, give them a survey. So it could be something really simple, like what are your biggest challenges right now? You could ask them how they found you. Any information that would help you deliver more value to them and learn more about your subscribers. Now, I don't recommend that you make the survey long because, again, this is a person who just opted in for something for free. So 1 or 2 questions is probably best. You don't need to make this thing long, but it's a matter of having that survey there because they're a lot more likely to fill it out, especially if you link it up to the fact that they're now a subscriber. You're saying, I want to give you as much value as possible. So please tell me what I can deliver to you to make your subscription to my list as awesome as I possibly can. And then give them a short survey. Don't make them click on an external link, by the way, to do this. It's best if you embed the survey right on that page. Now, a few tools that can help you do this. One is a plugin called Gravity Forms. I personally love this plugin. It's by far the best forms plugin I have ever seen for WordPress, and it can enable you to do just a ton of things. But it's child's play for this plugin to set up a simple form, 1 or 2 questions. You can embed it right there on that page, and then you can have it send you the entries. You can have it, it'll record them in your database, the whole 9 yards. So it's a really, really great plugin. Another option is a service called PollDaddy. Now, I've used PollDaddy before. It's basically a poll and survey system done by the same people that created WordPress itself. Now, and so it works really well with WordPress because they obviously built the thing end to end. Comes with a plugin that will allow you to take any PollDaddy poll or survey and embed it right into any page on WordPress. The third one is simply Google Forms. So this is just something it comes with Google Drive. You just set up a quick form there, and basically anything that they type into that form, into your questions, are going to be stored in a spreadsheet on Google Drive. So the Google option is totally free. It's a little janky, in my personal opinion. It's not ideal, but it will work. Your best bet is, I like Gravity Forms personally. I think that's the best option for this kind of thing. All right, tip number 4 for the perfect opt-in confirmation page would be to incentivize the share. So what I mean by this is that you can magnify the impact of your opt-in process by inviting every person who opts in to share on Twitter, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatever makes the most sense. But the way to really maximize the chance of them doing that for you is to provide an incentive for doing so. So by saying, if you retweet this, you're going to unlock an extra bonus or something to that effect. Now, there are many different ways to do that, a lot of different plugins, but one that I have used before is just simply called paywithatweet.com. Very simple. They do offer a free level of account that will allow you to set up a basic campaign, but it's essentially exactly what the domain says. They retweet something and then they get something in exchange for doing that. And that's paywithatweet.com. Now, you can provide options to share without any incentive. And there are going to be those people who say, well, I'm not going to retweet your stuff if I don't know if your stuff is any good yet. And it's a valid viewpoint. So you could just put a few reshare buttons on the page with no incentive and just see what happens. Now, one thing is that don't just use a standard social share plugin on there and put it on that page by default, because what's probably going to happen is it's going to try to retweet the link to the confirmation page, which obviously defeats the point because anybody who comes over from that tweet is not going to yet be an email subscriber. So you're going to want to rig those share buttons so that they share out the original squeeze page, not the confirmation page. That way, if any new subscriber does retweet, then you will actually build your list because it'll be coming into your squeeze page. But you'll generally get more activity on these buttons if you incentivize it. All right, tip number 5. Show them the exact email to look for in order to confirm. Now, obviously, this goes to whether you are using double confirmation to build your list. Now, I might have mentioned this in the past. There's strong arguments to be said for not using double confirmation to build your list, because if you practice good list hygiene, you actually don't need to use double confirmation and your delivery rates will still be totally fine. And in fact, if you're using double confirmation, it actually makes it really difficult to do front-end sales and stuff after the opt-in. So I generally recommend that you go with single confirmation if you can, and as long as you know how to do good list hygiene. But if you're going to ask them to confirm their email address, one way to do this is to show them what the actual email looks like, what the confirmation email looks like. And what this will do is it will maximize the chances that they will actually confirm, because it just is what it is. Not everybody's going to confirm their address. Even if they wanted the thing that you're promising them, they just won't. Maybe the confirmation email never got to them. Maybe they need to check their spam folder, whatever it might be. But if you show them literally a screenshot of what that email is going to look like and show them the subject line, then you can help them go in and spot it. Okay? I've done this before where I actually will literally take a screenshot of the email, and I will embed it on the confirmation page and show them exactly what it's going to look like. And you can just, blur out any sensitive information in there that you don't want them to see in that image, but just show them the email, okay? Tip number 6, link directly to the top inboxes. So what I mean by this is that you can literally put a hyperlink right there on the confirmation page that points right to their Gmail inbox, right to their, say, maybe Hotmail or Outlook.com or Yahoo.com. Point right there. I mean, most of us these days are probably using web-based email of some kind, and those are the big top 3. So if you can put links on the confirmation page that just point right to the inbox, so you're making it just easier for them to perform that extra step of confirming, then you might increase your confirmation rate on these emails. So you can go and get logos for Gmail and Yahoo Mail and all that, or you can just use simple text links and just link right to those inboxes. Okay? Tip number 7, and this will be the last one, is to give them more options to connect with you. So this would be something as simple as asking them to like your page on Facebook or asking them to follow you on Twitter. Now, the big thing there is that you want to give them a reason to do that. And the most obvious one that comes up is the idea of not missing anything. It's kind of like you've linked the idea of connecting with you socially with their original transaction that they just wanted to get something from you. And so you could be like, listen, I offer a lot of ongoing value to all my subscribers all the time. But sometimes email being what it is, sometimes those emails might not get through. And also sometimes I share things more instantaneously with my subscribers, but not via email because I don't want to barrage your email inbox. So in order to make sure that you don't miss anything, why don't you connect up with me on Twitter and my Facebook page? Something like that. That could be like a good hook to get people into your social accounts, and that way you're increasing the touch points, you're increasing the amount of places that they're connected with you, and the more places that they're connected with you, the more they get embedded into your community, and from a business perspective, they're more likely to become a customer either now or sometime later down the road. Okay? So let's quickly review these 7 tips. Tip number 1 is to acknowledge the action that they just took. Tip number 2 is to put a front-end product for sale. Try to sell them something right away and price it at impulse buy territory, not something they have to think a heck of a lot about. Tip number 3 is to give them a survey of some kind. Tip number 4 is to incentivize the share. Give them something and as a bonus for sharing your squeeze page to their followers. Tip number 5 is to show them the exact email to look for in order to confirm their subscription. So you can just simply take a screenshot of it. Tip number 6 is to link directly to the top inboxes. And then tip number 7 is to give them more options to connect and give them a reason for doing that. Now, again, I want to reiterate one thing, and that is that you're not going to do all 7 of these things simultaneously on one page because it would just be an overloaded page and you'd be asking them to do too many things. So you got to pick the ones that are the most useful to you, okay? If you're going to give them a front-end product for sale, you're probably not also going to ask them to fill out a survey or incentivize the share. You're probably just going to go right to the point to try to make the sale. But some of these other things, you can figure out the right balance and what makes the most sense for you. Okay? I'll end off with this one thing, and that is that this whole thing about having a good opt-in process and even getting the opt-in process set up can sometimes be kind of daunting for some people. And I know that I've had many subscribers who struggle with the basics on how to get their opt-in funnel set up correctly. The technical part of it just rubs them the wrong way and causes them, some real big problems. And so I went and created a course for this, and it's called List Building Simplified. And the whole idea of List Building Simplified is to jump into the mechanics of building your email list and walk you through everything. And I don't assume that you know a bunch of stuff. We get down to the basics from setting up your email list, setting up the opt-in forms, hooking everything together, setting up your thank you emails, your confirmation emails, yes, the confirmation page itself, all of it. And I help you get the entire process working in plain English fashion. So it's called List Building Simplified. Now, the way to get this course is by being a member of the Blog Monetization Lab over at the Blog Marketing Academy. That's the only way currently to get this course. So if you want to learn more about the Monetization Lab, head on over to blogmonetizationlab.com, and I hope to see you inside the community. We've got a great community there, very active community, actually, and it's getting more active day by day. And I'd love to see you in there as soon as we can. Okay? Hope you enjoyed the episode, found it valuable. If you did, hop on over into iTunes for me. You can do that at blogmarketingacademy.com/iTunes and leave an honest review for me and let me know what you think of this Coffee Break Blogging podcast. But it would also help me spread the word, and I'd very much appreciate it. Okay? With that, have a good one, and I will see you on the next episode.